One of the most asked questions I get is, how do I start investing, or where do I begin? Or sometimes even more specifically, like, I have X amount of money, what should I do with it? So in this video, I'm going to give you 4 questions that if you ask these to yourself, you're going to find out exactly what you should do with your money and exactly how you should start. So these are the same principles that high performing investors use to make fortunes, and they can work the same for you. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. If you are new to the channel, my name is Mark Moss. I like to talk about making money, investing money, and having just general success. So like I always say, if you like those topics, which I'm sure you do, go ahead and click like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I put out a new video. In this series, we talk about what it takes to be successful investing, what other successful investors do, and what you can do to be a high performance investor. Last week, we talked about mindset. Today, we're talking about actions. Next week, well, you're gonna have to stay tuned for that. So hopefully you have the notifications turned on. So really, you need to know a few different things. Now, if you're investing or thinking of investing, you might have dreams of getting rich, traveling all over the world, taking exotic trips, buying fancy cars, etc. Or maybe that's not it. Maybe you just have a dream of a future where you can actually retire one day. Maybe you want to have a life where you don't have to stress out over money, whether you don't have to stress out over whether your future is secure. So depending on whatever that is with your own goals, you just need to figure out what your goals are. And regardless of where you are with investing, there's key things that you need to know. All right. So like I said earlier, last week we talked about mindset, which of course is super, super important. People want to think, just kind of pass over that, but it's super important. It's really a key difference maker. All right. And this week, we're going to talk more about actions. Now, I'm going to give you some really clear actions so you can definitely take notes on this. If you don't stick around to the end, I have a link in the description, and in the comments, I'm going to pin to it. I'm going to be doing a live training that's going to go deep into these subjects. So if you want to learn more, tune in for that live training where I'm really going to go deep. I'm giving it all away for free. But we're going to be talking about actions and what you need to do, specifically what you need to do to be successful with investing. Because, making money, having success, being successful at investing isn't really a one size fits all, right? There's all different types of rich investors. So you have like Warren Buffett, for example, right? He's one of the most famous, richest investors out there. But he has a specific investing style. So he buys capital efficient businesses with world-class brands and huge moats. So like Coca-Cola, right? See's Candy. Those are the types of things that he likes to buy. That's why he doesn't like gold. That's why he doesn't like Bitcoin, because it doesn't fit into his investing model. All right. Then you have like Jeff Bezos, right? He's one of I think maybe the richest guy in the world right now. He invested into business. All right. So different than Buffett. You have Ray Dalio, who's also one of the most well-known, most successful investors in history. And he got rich investing into markets. Completely different than Buffett, completely different than Bezos. So there's all these different ways to have success with investing. And that's why I say one size doesn't fit all. Now, there's other people who have got super rich in real estate, right? Other people that have invested into private equity. So that's like pre-IPO, venture capital, stuff like that. And so there's so many ways. And I'm not trying to confuse you here. I'm just trying to make a point, just trying to expand on this a little bit. And I'm going to show you exactly how to find your own specific way. So I'll call this your investor DNA. So this is your DNA. This is unique to you. So where do you start? So we need to identify what that investor DNA is. That way we can invest for our own specific needs, our own specific strengths, and our own specific goals, because your strengths are different than my strengths. Your needs are different than my needs. Your goals are different than my goals. And so they also change throughout time. So my needs change as I had kids and as I got married. My strengths have changed as I've continued to grow and learn. My goals have changed, and I'm sure yours do as well. So let me give you a couple examples. So let's say that you're like a 9-to-5er and you're really busy, right? So you work more than 9 to 5, let's say, right? So from that perspective, you might need something that's totally passive, okay? Because you're working, let's say that you're working a lot, you have kids, whatever, and you're really busy. So you're going to need something that's more passive, that you don't need to spend all the time to research it. You don't need all this to spend all the time managing it, adjusting it, right? So that way, for someone like you might just want to invest in the markets, right? That's probably the best way to do that. And you might want to just kind of invest broadly into the market. So index funds They beat most active money managers. You can invest into other funds, ETFs, things like that. And so if you're a busy 9-to-5er, that probably aligns with your investing DNA the best way. Let's say that you're an entrepreneur. So you're an entrepreneur, you probably have more time. And so you might want to invest where you have specific knowledge, right? So let's say that you're an investor, you're a business owner in a specific niche. Well, you might want to invest into other similar businesses or sectors that you already know. So let's say, for example, you own a beauty salon. Well, you might want to invest into other similar businesses. So maybe other beauty salons in your area you could invest into, or maybe into the sector. So maybe in the beauty sector, maybe investing into products and other services that align with that. Maybe even if they're publicly traded, just because you understand that whole business sector, right? Maybe there's new technologies that are coming along to change your entire landscape, that it will change your whole industry, and you can invest into those companies early on that are going to disrupt this industry because you have a unique knowledge and skill about that. There's also the hopeful. Now, I don't mean this in a bad way, but let's say that you're really interested in something, but you don't have any experience. So let's say that you want to trade Forex, you want to trade currencies, you want to do options trading, you want to jump into real estate, you want to invest into businesses or do hard money loans or any of those things, but you don't really know about it. Well, you can take the time to learn those new skills, right? You can take the time to focus on those areas. And so all of these ways are different ways that you can invest for a lot of money, but they're all different, right? Does that make sense? So there's 4 questions that you really need to ask yourself. And regardless of where you're starting out, regardless of where you are, you need to answer these 4 questions, and that's going to lead you on to the right path, okay? So the question number 1 is, what is my investor DNA? Now, for this, you have to be what I say, brutally honest with yourself, because a lot of times we don't really want to know. We don't want to dig in deep to find out the truth about ourselves. But you need to be brutally honest with yourself, and you need to ask yourself, what are your core values? What is your current situation? What are your core competencies? Like, what's your insight? What's your knowledge? When you understand that, you also can understand that a lot of times risk isn't in the investment, it's in you. So I might be able to invest into something that isn't risky for me because I have good knowledge, good skills, good strength around that. But for you, since you don't understand the market, it could be risky, right? Same could be vice versa. You might have strength and skills and you can invest in part of the market, but if I invested there, it would be risky for me because I don't really understand it. So it's the same either way. Investments aren't always black and white. They're good or bad depending on the person. Now, the question number 2 is, what are your strengths? Okay. So let's say that you're really good at business, or you're really good at real estate, or you're really good with technology. Well, maybe you should be investing in those terms. So for example, I have a friend who's really good at online businesses. And what he's been doing is he's been buying new online businesses, fixing them up a little bit, and then selling them. So there's websites where you can see all these websites listed, and he finds the businesses that are kind of similar to the business that he's in. And he buys these businesses, and then he can instantly start doing better marketing and better customer service and a couple little tweaks, and then he flips the business. All right, he's really good at that. Let's say real estate, for example. So at one point in my career, I was buying and selling homes. I did over 100 homes buying and selling, and I got to know the areas really well. And I knew, hey, this home is going to have a 3rd bedroom, or this is the quality and the level of a fix up that we should do. And I knew market by market and neighborhood because I spent so much time there exactly what to do. But other real estate investors would come in and they think they could make money, but they didn't understand the market. And so they wouldn't add the bedroom, or they would fix it up too nice, and then they wouldn't be able to get their money back out of it. So you need to understand what your strengths are, what you're good at. Maybe you love technology. Maybe you study all the technology trends, the new phones, the new computers, new electronics, and you get that. You spend a lot of time there. So maybe that's where you should be investing. Number 3, what are my goals? And so these change from time to time. For me personally, when I a decade, about a dozen years ago, I was really investing heavily for growth, trying to get my money to grow super fast. And then I shifted, and all my investing really comes down to cash flow. So even though I'm still swinging for the fences in some of my crypto plays or cannabis plays, when I make that money, I take it off the table and I put it into cash flow because that's my goal, right? So if you want to retire in 5 years, you have to invest one way. But if you want to retire in 30 years, you have to invest a completely different way, right? If you want to send your kids to college, this depends. What are your goals? And then you need to adjust your investments that way. And then who do I want to be? That's number 4. Who do I want to be? And this really comes down to like your core drivers, right? What do you want to research? What do you want to read? Like if you would go through your YouTube channel playlist, or your podcast that you're listening to, or the books that you have on your shelf, or what you're looking at on Instagram, etc., you'll find that you probably are paying attention to just a couple of things. And maybe it's about health or diet or exercise. Maybe it's about technology, investing, etc. And so that kind of shows where you're spending your time. And so you can dive deeper into that, okay? And you can focus on those things. You can also learn new skills, all right? So you want to focus on who you want to be, because just because you want to invest in real estate but you don't know anything about it, well, learn about it, right? That's who I want to become. I want to learn how to do trust deeds or tax lien sales. Well, good. Go learn about tax lien sales or trust deed sales, all right? So whatever it is, I just want to get you thinking about this, because having hope isn't enough, right? Having hope isn't enough. We actually have to be doing something. And all our paths to success are going to be a little bit different. We're always going to be investing into ourselves and investing into assets, into markets, trying to get our money to grow. But your path is going to be different than mine, right? Your skills are different than mine. Your interests are different than mine. And so we have to be able to identify what our skills are, what our strengths are, what our interests are. And so we can use those to have the most success, because like I said, our paths are going to be a little bit different. All right. So as I kind of said, kind of at the beginning of the video, I am doing this new course called High Performance Investor, and I'm inviting you to come and watch it for free. And I'm going to put the link down below in the description, and it's in the comments as well. I am going to be recording, and I'm going to be producing and selling the course later, but you can get it for free just for coming, participating. I want to have you live. I want to answer your questions. It's going to be awesome. So I hope to see you there. Now, let me know what you think about these 4 different questions. If you've asked them yourselves, leave me a comment down below, 1, 2, 3, or 4, whichever question you think makes the most sense for you. I'd love to hear your feedback. I try to reply to every single comment. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you like it. If you don't like the video, give me a thumbs down. Either way, I always want to know. And that's it. To your success. I'm out.